Okay, so first up we got this one. Pretty cool. I like how they're shooting the blast out from the lance. That's really cool. We got ABC here, very nice. I'm gonna give this one a good solid 8 out of 10. Next up we got this one. Pretty cool. I like the ripping on the cape. That's really nice. This one's only a B up there at the top though, so maybe not as good, but yeah, still pretty good. I'm gonna give this one also an 8 out of 10. Next one we got this one. I can't really tell what the hell's going on here. Really hard to read, but it's still pretty good because it's Dukemon. So I'm gonna give this one also an 8 out of 10. This one's cool. It's shiny. You can see it's shiny, which automatically puts it above the other ones. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Next one we got this one. Doing the blast from the shield. Pretty cool. I really like how this one's a bit darker, so maybe I'm gonna give this one also a 9 out of 10. This one's pretty cool, riding on a big bird, really cool bird. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. This one's nice, but it's also 3D, so maybe it's not as cool as the 2D drawings because I like those a little bit more. And this one is also a little bit brighter, so maybe it looks a little bit flatter, and so I'm gonna give this one maybe a 7 out of 10. This one's, we go back to the 2D drawings. Pretty cool. I like how this one makes it look like they're throwing the shield. That's pretty nice. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. This one's pretty cool, but I don't have much to say about this one, but it's also a C, so maybe not as good as the other ones, so, but it still has the ABC at the bottom, so I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. This one's nice, but the shading and the line art make it look kind of weird. It looks almost a little bit worse than the other ones, so maybe I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. This one is cool. I like this pose a lot. It's one of my favorites. It looks like coming down in front of the sun, so I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. This one's cooler because it's got big beams in the background. I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. This one looks like a little toy on a card. I think that's kind of stupid. I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. This one is nice. I like how it looks almost like a sunset, which is really cool. So this one gets an 8 out of 10. This one is pretty cool. It looks like they're shielding themselves from something, and that's pretty cool. That's nice. So I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. And this one is really cool. The shading is very nice and good, and it looks awesome, and there's fire and breathing and fire everywhere. So this one's definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. Next one we got this one. Pretty okay, 7 out of 10. This one's cool. This image makes it look almost like there's a motion blur on it, which is pretty nice, and I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. This one has Royal Knight on it, and it's got lots of cool gold decals, so this one gets an 8 out of 10. This one is kind of boring, and the anatomy is kind of weird, so I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. This one is cool, but the pose is a bit boring, and I'm not sure what's going on with the shading on the shield here, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. This one is pretty nice. I like how the shield is up and the lance is down. That gives it a nice dynamic pose, but I'm still gonna give this one an 8 out of 10 because it's still a little bit boring, and I don't like the color of the background very much. This one is cool. I like how the lance covers half of their face, so that's pretty nice, but the colors are weird still. I don't know why we're going with the puke green, so I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. This is more of the weird green, and I don't like this drawing that much, so this one gets a 7 out of 10. This one is pretty cool. I like how it's rainbow and sparkles, and there's a big beam of light coming from the lance, which is pretty cool. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. This one is awesome. It looks really fucking awesome, so this one gets a 10 out of 10. This is also really so cool, so this one gets a really good 10 out of 10. I really like the warping. This one is pretty cool. I don't like where the sparkles are placed though, and I don't know how I feel about the placement of Takato, so this one only gets an 8 out of 10. This one is pretty cool, and I like the colors, but it also looks a little bit like it comes from a gacha game, so we're gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. This one is nice, but it's a bit boring, even though I do like the dynamic posing, so it's going to go in an 8 out of 10 tier. This one is also really cool, and I like the colors, so maybe it would be an 8 out of 10, except I don't like where the shiny speckles are, so maybe it's more like a 7.5. This one is cool. I like the background, but it's kind of boring, so maybe only a 7 out of 10. This one is also really, really cool. I like everything about this very much, so I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. This one is okay, but it looks a little bit too anime. Not to say that Digimon is not ever anime, because it usually is, but you know what I mean when I say that. I'm going to give this one maybe an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. This one is cool. It's on a big rock, it looks like, and there are lots of other Digimon. Looks like the Royal Knights in the background, and that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. This one is boring. It looks a bit boring. There's nothing really much to say about it, and I don't know why it's in the water, so I'm going to say maybe it is a 7 out of 10. This one fucking owns, so 10 out of 10. And this one is also pretty cool. I like the winding up appearance of the blast coming from the lance, so I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Also, we can do a bonus round with all of the other Dukemon variations. This one is Dukemon X Antibody, so this one is really cool, and I like the colors on it. It looks a bit inverted and awesome, so I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. This one is really cool, but it's a little bit yellow in this image of it, and I don't know if that's how the card looks, but it looks a little bit eye-strained to me, and so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. This one is nice, but the line art is a bit thick, and it looks a little silly, so I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. This one is awesome. I like the pose. This one is really cool. The coloring is a little bit weird, but that's okay, so I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. This one is just the image of Dukemon with the X antibody put directly on the card. This is a 6 out of 10. This one is cooler. It's the 3D model of Dukemon with the X antibody, which is really cool. X Evolution is a very good movie, and it's not that good, but you should still watch it because I think it's good, so I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. This one is okay. I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. This one is pretty cool, and it's also, I like the rocks in the foreground, so that's pretty nice. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Now we can move on. Medieval Dukemon doesn't have as many cards, but I still think it's cool. This one is also weirdly yellow, and it looks like it was put directly on old ancient papyrus, so I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. God, I tried so hard to finish that without laughing. This one is also pretty cool, and I really like the posing of this one. I'm not sure why there is a black hole in the background, but that is okay, and so I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. This one is really, really awesome. I like the big axe in the front, and that looks really cool, so I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. And then we're going to move on to Chaos Dukemon. Chaos Dukemon is my favorite Digimon. I really like Chaos Dukemon a lot, so we're going to go through these cards, and that's going to be pretty cool. So this one looks like a 3D model, and I really like the coloring on this one, and it's pretty badass, so I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. This one looks a little bit weirder, and it's on a yellow background, which contrasts poorly with the big, deep blue, so I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10, even though the artwork is cool. This one owns severely, so I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. This one is cool, but it's also on yellow, and I don't like how sparkly it is, maybe, because it doesn't fit with the darkness, so I'm gonna give this one a 7 or a 6, because I do like the artwork. This one is really cool. I like the purples in the background. That's a cool hue, so it works better with the blue, so I'm gonna give this one probably a 7 or an 8 out of 10. This one is a little bit worse than the last one, but I like this one a lot as well, so this one is also going to get an 8 out of 10. This one I don't like at all. I think this artwork looks really weird. I've just always never liked the way that this artwork looks. I don't like the way that they're staring at me, so I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. This one is really fucking cool, and it's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life, so I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Or a 10 out of 10. Sorry, and this one is really awesome. I like the almost wide-eyed look in their eyes, and that's pretty cool. But it is also on yellow, and it contrasts again kind of weird. So I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Here are all of the other ones. This one is pretty cool. I like all of the sparks on it, and I do like the grain in the background, so I'm gonna give this one probably an 8 out of 10. This one is pretty cool, but the gold is kind of dirty, and it looks a little bit weird, so I'm gonna give this one maybe a 7 out of 10. This one is pretty cool, and I like it. It's just a little bit boring to me, but I do like that Gilmon is in the background, so I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. This one is really cool. I'm generally a really big fan of the colors here, and it's just a really nice clashing moment, and I think it looks awesome, so I'm gonna give this one probably a 9 out of 10. This one is okay, but it's a little bit boring. It's just Dukemon in the rainbow, and so I'm gonna give this one probably an 8 out of 10.
Hey everyone, I'm editing the video right now and I realized I said that it was boring that Dukemon was in the rainbow, but I realized that that was really offensive of me to call the rainbow boring. I want to say that I'm very supportive if Dukemon is gay. I don't have a problem with it and I don't think it's boring anymore, so I'm bumping the rating up to a 10 out of 10 for the LGBT community. Okay, thanks.
This one is pretty cool. I like the flat and the sketchy design of it, and I do like also that there is a circuit board in the background that looks pretty cool, so I'm gonna give this one probably an 8 out of 10. This one is okay. It's a little bit boring, but I do like the posing. I think that's cool. You don't see Dukemon with their legs together very often, so I'm gonna give this one probably an 8 out of 10. This one is really cool. It's obviously a fight that is very popular, so I'm gonna probably give this one a 9 out of 10. This one is alright, if a little bit boring, and the shading is a little bit, it's just not my style probably, so I'm gonna probably give this one a 7 out of 10. This one fucking whips, so I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. This one is pretty cool. I do like the action here, that's really nice. The colors are a little bright for my liking, but it's still really cool, and of course they're going to be bright because there is sparking going on right here, so we're just gonna say this is probably about a 8 out of 10, yeah. This one is really cool. There's not much to say about it though, so I'm gonna give this one probably a 7 out of 10. This one is awesome, it's really fucking good and it's really cool, so I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. And I also like that you don't see most of their body because it's obscured in darkness. That is cool. This one fucking whips major insano style ass, so I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. This one is really, really cool because this one's part of a two-part card, and there's another part here where you can see that Omegamon is fighting Chaos Dukemon, and that's fucking awesome, so that's a 10 out of 10. And then this one is also pretty cool. This one is still a fight with Omegamon. They love to make these two bastards fight each other to the death, and I think that's great. More of that should always be in Digimon, where you get two fights between two huge bastards. So I'm gonna give this one another 10 out of 10.